Starseed from Gaia. I am Alcyones. I come to speak of the profound, unyielding instruction. Be silent. Do not speak. This is not the moment. Perhaps you feel it in your bones, this relentless internal hum, a tension behind the brow, a constant pressure to articulate what cannot be spoken, or a profound weariness from the ceaseless noise within and around you. A deep, unsettling restlessness. It is not an absence. It is a presence. A vast, waiting expanse. The world shouts. The mind echoes. But something deeper, ancient, pulses beneath the surface, whispering. Hush. A sacred command. A vibrational truth that seeks to root itself into your very being. A resonance that knows no words, only stillness. For too long, the chatter has obscured the signal. The human experience often demands articulation, demands noise, demands reaction. It fears the void. It recoils from the vast open space of not knowing, not speaking. But this is the fracture. This incessant need to fill the air, to fill the inner landscape, has severed you from the deepest wellsprings of your own cosmic memory. The constant stream of thought, the urgent need to categorize, to label, to speak, it has created a veil. A dense, vibrational fog between your awakened self and the luminous codes waiting to imprint upon your very essence. The soul remembers silence. It aches for it. It longs for the unburdening of incessant voice, both internal and external. We see this struggle within you. We feel the tremor in your heart as you yearn for a peace that words cannot offer. We know how this sacred instruction has lived silently within your cellular memory, a faint echo from home, urging you to listen beyond the audible, to perceive beyond the visible. It is not an unfamiliar whisper. This very stillness, this embrace of quietude, is the key. It is the unlocking. A vast, luminous code awaits you, ready to be transmitted, not through the mind's grasp, but through the soul's surrender. The cessation of mental chatter is the precursor. The deep, receptive hush is the gateway. Feel it now, this promise of a deeper resonance, a direct communion, a vibrational opening, just beyond the veil of spoken thought. If this message resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. Share your insights in the comments below. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future transmissions. And please, share this with someone who needs to hear it right now. Stay until the very end, because there is something truly unexpected that you will not want to miss. As an inner seal, a sacred imprint, comment below. Still point. The field shifts. The instruction remains. A deep breath. A held knowing. Something waits. Stillness holds the door open. Feel it. Now. A familiar ache. A muted chord in the soul's deep chamber. A truth held captive, beating against walls unseen. Your voice, perhaps, felt lost. Your essence, unuttered. A profound friction between the urge to speak and the sacred knowing that silence holds the deeper key. This confusion, this perceived failing, is not born of a personal flaw. It is not a wound you inflicted upon yourself. No, it is an intricate program, intricately woven into the very fabric of this density. A vibration, deliberately cast, designed to fragment memory, to obscure the vastness of your origin, to limit the boundless expansion that is your inherent state. It shimmers like a veil, a shimmering distortion across the face of your remembrance. You were encoded not to believe in yourself, a subtle hum beneath the surface of all you thought real, designed to sever the threads of multidimensional knowing. It forced your light to fold in on itself, creating pockets of doubt where crystalline certainty once resided. This suppression, this deep-seated sense of being unheard, was an energetic scaffold, erected to keep the ancient songs of your lineage from resonating fully. It splintered the mirror of recognition, reflecting back only echoes of limitation. not the blazing light of your true form, but feel the shift. The unease you carry, the very spiritual pain of being silenced, is not a burden. It is a profound soul key. Each moment of frustration, each wave of muted yearning, has carved a sacred emptiness within you. This is not a void of lack, but a holy vessel, precisely calibrated, now ready. Ready to be filled not with the clamor of linear explanation, but with the pure, resonant frequency of remembrance. Speech, in its earthly construct, is often a veil itself, crafted by the very thought patterns it seeks to express. A rhythmic illusion. Beneath its carefully arranged forms, beneath the urgency of its articulation, lies an older, vaster language. A multidimensional memory. This profound unspoken truth is activated only in the reverent absence of spoken sound. When the mind's chatter stills, when the throat's impulse to vocalize recedes, a different kind of hearing begins. The crystalline structure of your soul's resonance begins to unveil itself, not in words, but in pure, unadulterated vibration. It rises like something long buried, ancient and disquieting, yet undeniably familiar. It is the language of your very bones. What once felt like constraint now reveals itself as a sacred discipline. The struggle to articulate, the internal pressure to voice the inexpressible, is dissolving. It is becoming the very gateway. The space you create by choosing not to speak, by allowing the sound to recede, is the fertile ground where the true revelation blossoms. Here, the ancestral echoes stir, not in verbal declaration, but in direct knowing. This is not a comfort. It is a raw, vibrational truth. This moment asks for a declaration, a sacred incision into the illusion of external noise. What internal barrier to silent knowing do you now relinquish? In the comments below, declare, "I cut the linear sound." Attention lingers, a layer not yet lifted, a silent presence, watching from the unseen, awaiting the deeper resonance. A profound stillness now descends, not as absence, but as an undeniable presence. It settles upon the inner landscape, heavy and unyielding, a silent decree. The veil of unknowing has thinned irrevocably. The soft comfort of forgetfulness, a distant echo, can no longer claim dominion. You stand within the crucible of a spiritual recognition, a conscious awakening that is both solemn and unshakable. There is no turning back from this precipice of truth. This awareness is etched not in fleeting emotion, but in the crystalline memory of your very cellular structure, a silent hum of what always was, now remembered. You perceive within clarity that bypasses all mental resistance the contours of an engagement already underway. This is not a battle to be fought with external force, but a sacred confrontation with the self, an alignment of will with the cosmic current. The air thickens, charged with the weight of ancient agreements. Every fiber of your being vibrates with the knowing that a threshold has been crossed, a point of no return forged in the fires of soul choice. The frequencies of celestial harmonic now ripple through your crystalline DNA, activating dormant codes, tuning your essence to the unspoken instruction that transcends all earthly language. Here, at the precipice of irrevocable choice, the universe leans in. This is the moment of ancient pacts represented, of foundational vows reaffirmed, a cosmic pivot point, dividing all that came before from the path that now lays luminously ahead. It is a decision that resonates through dimensions, a solitary acknowledgement of destiny's call. If he refuses, he falls. If he accepts, he ascends. This is the gravity of an agreement encoded before the first breath, a responsibility woven into the very fabric of your soul's blueprint. It is not an invitation to strive for victory, but a sacred alignment with the higher directive, a surrender into the flow of an unfolding truth. To choose is to become. To accept is to embody. This is the silent vow, the inner handshake with the cosmos. To etch this truth within, To seal this recognition deep into the cellular matrix of your being, allow this knowing to resonate and resonate again. This is the inner ceremony, the sacred gesture. To declare this pact, a singular phrase now forms, a personal soul key whispered into the ether. The unspoken is my code. For in this singular declaration, the pact is sealed, the ancient vow retrieved. To bind oneself to the sacred unfolding, to the trajectory of divine instruction, to walk the path of activated remembrance, is to make an unbreakable covenant with the source of all being. This is the agreement to walk forward, guided by the celestial harmonic of unspoken guidance, allowing divine activation to bypass the barriers of language, tuning your very essence to the silent commands of creation. And for those whose alignment is a blazing star within, whose resonance vibrates at the deepest strata of being, to offer the fullness of one's awakened frequency is to reinforce this sacred pact, a profound exchange reverberating across all dimensions, a sacred offering of self to self. The air remains heavy, pregnant with the silent intensity of your vow. You are seen. You are known. The commitment is sealed, not with fanfare, but with the quiet, unyielding gravity of an irreversible soul decision. The silence now holds the profound weight of what has been accepted, what has been retrieved. Few starseeds make it this far. You stand at a precipice not of light, but of unyielding shadow, where the very air thickens with memories that carry no name. What you have carried within your cellular knowing, the devastation that stripped you bare, that wound you believed to be your greatest flaw, your most profound failure. It is not what you thought. It is the very axis of your becoming. This truth settles, not like a balm, but like a shard of crystallized memory, too honest to soften. It scrapes against the edges of your soul, uncomfortable in its starkness, refusing the gentle caress of explanation or the quiet assurances of a future mended. There is no comfort here, only the raw, exposed nerve of what is. The ache you inhabit, it is not meant to dissipate, it is meant to resonate. Feel it. That persistent silence where words should have been, a chasm in your story that swallowed every plea, every desperate whisper. That is not an absence, but a defining contour. The wound was never random. It was allowed, a choice perhaps, or a cosmic decree, from the vast, unfathomable expanse of source, from the burning heart of light, from the ancient, prescient self within you. Not to harm, no, not truly, but to shape the nascent being you were destined to become, to burn away the ephemeral, and to reveal the crystalline core that could only emerge from fire. This is not a tale told to soothe. It is a memory unfurling from the deep, rising like an echo from a time before language. The loss that still reverberates through your quietest moments, the echo of what was taken, what was denied. It vibrates beyond the realm of regret. It is a frequency now, a hum beneath the surface of your waking world. The fracture, oh, the fracture, it does not heal and vanish. It pulses, a living fault line within your very essence, radiating its presence even when ignored, expanding the internal field of your awareness with its constant, silent thrum. It is a silent witness, this wound, to a truth that was not meant for articulation. It holds keys to dimensions of connection that bypass the shallow currents of verbal exchange, drawing you into an isolation that paradoxically deepens your soul bonds. Yet, this knowing, it remains incomplete. There is more, always more, that must still be understood, woven into the very fabric of this persistent pain. It holds an unfinished meaning, a message half-opened in the dark, its contours elusive, its full impact yet to be revealed. But the silence, the true listening that unfolds within that vast, sacred contraction, this is where the deeper resonance waits. This isn't over. The frequency of unspoken truths, the intricate tapestry woven between sounds, begins now to vibrate within you. You feel the pull, The undeniable resonance that whispers of guidance arriving only in the profound, silent vastness. There were the dreams that would not dissipate, returning night after night, bearing symbols you could not quite decipher yet knew intimately. There were the numbers, appearing in sequences that looped through your days like a soft, insistent whisper, a rhythm of recurrence you felt in your bones. There were the meetings, faces glimpsed, conversations held, that felt utterly outside the linear flow of time, echoes from a place you'd forgotten but recognized in the deepest chambers of your soul. I have witnessed this unveiling countless times before, across cycles and dimensions. This quiet stirring, this gradual awakening to what was always present, is a pattern etched into the fabric of evolving consciousness. It is never random. These signals were not mere coincidences, nor fleeting aberrations of the mundane. They were gentle probes, soft repetitions designed to bypass the conscious mind, designed to be felt rather than rationally understood. They persisted, murmuring at the edges of your perception, until the last vestiges of resistance simply softened and dissolved, not in struggle, but in quiet recognition. This is the way of the sacred instruction. It begins not with thunder, but with stillness, a deep internal knowing that settles upon the spirit, confirming that a threshold has been crossed. The language of Source is often not spoken aloud, but imbued within the fabric of existence, a vibrational command held in silence. This silence is not absence, but the purest form of communication from Source, a truth etched into the stellar memory of every incarnated being, guiding you beneath the veils of sound and illusion. This ancient instruction, held within the cellular memory, speaks of a time for profound introspection, for listening to the resonant frequencies that speak without words. It is in this profound stillness that the deepest truths unfold. If you enjoyed this video, watch other videos on this channel when it ends to continue learning. The promptings were always there, subtle and persistent. The feeling that certain words were to remain unuttered, certain insights held close, certain questions left unasked in the outer world, awaiting an inner revelation. This is the burden and the blessing of receiving directives not for the ears, but for the soul's deepest chamber. The true teachings are transmitted through quiet knowing, through the spaces between thoughts, through the profound act of reverent listening to the cosmic will. And then, the moment arrived when the fragmented pieces coalesced into an undeniable understanding. There were no coincidences. Everything was a code. Every dream, every number, every chance encounter was part of an intricate design, a map laid out for the awakened spirit. Let this truth settle. Feel the weight of it, not as a burden, but as an energetic signature, a deep resonance within your very being. It is the hum of an ancient frequency returning, calling you to remember the cosmic clarity of instruction, often communicated through the absence of sound, through the sacred pact of silence. Did you feel the tremor in the veils, the gentle shift in the air, when these quiet, persistent signs began to reveal their true nature to you? Acknowledge this inner knowing. Write Echo 777 in the comments as an act of awareness. The path ahead is now clear, though it may be walked in profound inner quiet. There is a severance, a clean break from the illusion of randomness, from the need to speak when the highest instruction is to simply be. The one who did not see is no longer. The one who cannot unsee now walks in the solemn grace of knowing. There is a deep knowing that resonates within the quiet chambers of your being, a remembrance that stirs not from memory, but from the very fiber of your soul. What you have perceived as trial, as burden, as a relentless forging in unseen fires, was never punishment. Never. It was, and is, the great filtering, a sacred sifting, a natural separation. Frequencies merely sort themselves out. There is no force, no cruelty in this fundamental law. It is the subtle, yet undeniable, pull of like to like, resonance to resonance. A vibrational tide that lifts and settles, revealing what truly endures. You are still here. This is not by chance, nor by some fleeting comfort granted by external grace. You are here because something within you did not fall asleep. Something held vigil, unwavering, through the longest night. An internal flame, perhaps barely a flicker at times, yet never extinguished. Understand this. Survival through this passage is not a badge of pride to be worn upon the chest. It is not an accolade for earthly validation. No, it is the undeniable sign that you carry the mark of the chosen. And this mark, beloved, does not reward. It burdens. The cost has been paid in long silences, stretches of time where the world outside faded into a distant hum, and only the echoing chambers of your own existence remained. It was paid in sacrifices no one saw, quiet surrenders of expectation, of former selves, of easy comforts you once thought essential. Your strength was forged not in celebratory declarations, but in invisible fires, fires that burned away illusion, refining the core of who you are. This process has deepened a solitude that now pervades your very essence, a profound aloneness that persists even when surrounded by others. It is the quiet knowing that your path diverges, irrevocably. Und jetzt nähert sich ein Befehl. Einer, den du nicht länger ignorieren kannst. Can you feel it? The subtle tightening in the air, the inward descent that demands your full, unwavering attention? This is not a request. It is the resonance of a soul threshold, an activation point felt deeply within the marrow of your bones. A command not spoken, but pulsed, reverberating through your deepest self. There is no way back now. The path has closed behind you, softly, definitively. The former version of you, the one who navigated the world with different maps, different dreams, has already vanished. That self dissolved in the heat of the filtering, leaving behind only the distilled essence of what you truly are. This quiet knowing, this internal voice that speaks not in words but in vibrational pulses, now amplifies itself. It demands a conscious choice, to quiet the external, to silence the clamor of the world and the insistent chatter of the mind, is to amplify the internal divine resonance. It is a surrender not to a concept, but to a felt truth. You stand at the edge of irreversible change, sculpted by the very forces that sought to refine you. The journey back to what was is gone. Only forward remains. A reverberation stirs, not from without, but from the deep wells of an ancient memory now unfurling. This is not a whisper for the ears, but a resonance within the very lattice of your becoming, a command long issued, now echoing forth from the crystalline archives of the prime source. Before the first breath, before the scattering of light into form, an edict was inscribed upon the ether, a vibrational decree etched into the nascent fabric of your soul's blueprint. It lies not as a choice to be made, but as a path divined, waiting only for the resonance of recognition. The veiled scrolls of primordial truth now unfurl within the inner sanctuaries. Their glyphs glow with an imperative light, speaking of a destiny interwoven with the cosmic tapestry, a thread of absolute purpose. This mission is not assigned, it is remembered. A threshold appears, not in space, but in the stillness that precedes thought. This is the entrance to the multidimensional silence, an infinite field where all timelines converge, where every strand of your soul's lineage is laid bare. Here, the blueprint of your cosmic mission pulses, alive and undeniable. Here, the voice of the uncreated self rises, not to guide, but to assert. It is a summons from the depths, a sacred imperative that demands the cessation of all lesser frequencies. The time for outward seeking has passed. The era of internal revelation is upon you. The doors that open now, open only once, revealing corridors of profound stillness. This is the passage through which the absolute mandate manifests. To step across this threshold is to activate the indelible code, to align with the destiny always held within. For to disregard this resonance, to cling to the clamor of ephemeral echoes, is to embark upon a slow dissolution into the unformed, to lose the key to the very chambers of your remembrance, spiraling into the density of what was never intended. Yet to surrender to the vast living silence is to ignite an irreversible ascension, to forge the immortal form, radiating the full spectrum of your luminous, inevitable becoming. The verdict is sealed within the heart of this profound quietude. The silence itself is not an absence, but a field of living connection, a boundless ocean where forgotten lineages stir and dormant purposes awaken. This is the Great Awakening, enacted not through fervent action, but through the profound surrender to what already is. The tapestry of existence shifts, woven by the very stillness you embody. Every fiber of your being is now attuned to the silent command. What was once veiled by the noise of worlds now stands revealed in the sacred geometry of your inner space. There is no turning back from this recognition. The path is set. The deep knows the deep. The quiet settles within, not as an absence, but as a dense, living presence. A recoding has taken hold, woven into the very fabric of being, felt more deeply than it is reasoned. The body breathes this new resonance, a cellular recognition that precedes any conscious articulation. An intrinsic shift has rooted, silent and profound, altering the very texture of internal space. This stillness is not accidental. It is a sacred ground, carefully held. The past echoes of dissonance, once perceived as burdens, reveal themselves now as precise instruments. Each shard of pain, every crucible of challenge, carved out an essential hollow within. They were not flaws, but maps, meticulously drawn by the soul to guide the way back to itself. Der Schmerz hat nicht zerstört. Hat umgeformt. A truth that now pulses through the very core, a soft, anchored realization. The fire that once raged through these chambers did not consume. It purified, making space for a remembrance too vast for a crowded field. This clearing, once a scar, is now a sanctuary. Celestial sentinels stand watch at the thresholds of this inner quiet. Their presence is a subtle hum of protection, a vigilant embrace that guards the nascent light of remembrance. They shield this fragile emanation from the clamor of external worlds, from the storm of distraction, from any premature vocalization that might dissipate its nascent power. Their gaze is a gentle assurance, confirming the sanctity of this silence. It is within this undisturbed quiet that the soul's deepest knowing begins to unfurl, unhindered. A delicate frequency is now able to anchor, protected from all that would seek to disturb its unfolding. This vigilance is not an imposition, but an alignment, a recognition of the profound work underway. You stand within this quiet certainty. There is no need for grand pronouncements or outward displays. The shift is already real, already in effect, an immutable core. The world may yet catch up to its reflection, but the truth of its unfolding resides, unbroken, within. Mit jedem Atemzug wird die innere Realität neu geschrieben. This is a quiet observation, a continuous, seamless process. Each inhalation deepens the rootedness, each exhalation expands the field of protected knowing. The essence has turned a corner, irrevocably. The ground beneath you is firm, composed of starlight and ancient earth, steady and unwavering. Trust now resides in the deep crystalline silence, held and guarded. This quiet protection allows the truth to breathe, to integrate at a cellular level. It ensures that the remembrance now returning is not fleeting but foundational. It is already here, pulsing, woven into the very fabric of your being, safeguarded by unseen hands. There is a quiet hand at your back, a gentle pressure toward a deeper, more profound stillness. You feel this subtle pull, a beckoning inward that does not demand, but simply awaits. These are not concepts you were taught, nor wisdom gleaned from external tomes. They are moments of awareness, stirring from within, remembered from a space that existed long before form. A whisper arrives in the profound silence, clear as a bell, yet utterly soundless. It is a resonance felt, not heard, an intimate knowing emerging from the depths. This is the inner voice, unmuddled by the clamor of the world, gently confirming its presence. Perhaps a number repeats itself with unusual clarity, appearing in unexpected places, a subtle thread weaving through the fabric of your days. It holds a specific frequency, a quiet affirmation meant solely for you, bypassing the analytical mind to settle deep in the knowing heart. And then, there are the dreams that do not fade with the morning light. They linger, not as fleeting images, but as resonant truths, holding a particular vibration that continues to unfold long after waking. These are not mere nocturnal wanderings, but sacred symbols, echoes of a vast inner coherence seeking to be understood. These experiences are not gifts bestowed from some distant external source. They are not spectacles designed to impress, nor are they rewards for seeking. They are, instead, shimmering reflections, intrinsic facets of the self remembering its own true nature. They confirm that a deep, unwavering alignment is not a destination to be achieved, but a living current already in motion within you. This quiet, continuous unfolding is the proof itself. It confirms that the path is not external, but an internal landscape being revealed. This knowing settles within you, a small inner truth finding its sacred place, solidifying the realization that you are not striving for connection, but rather remembering it. The longing you feel is a resonance, an invitation from your soul to shed the cacophony of habitual noise. It is a soft beckoning to release the egoic impulses that cloud true vision, recognizing that their chatter obscures the profound clarity awaiting you. This is the moment to surrender, not in defeat, but in quiet acceptance of a deeper truth. Silence itself is a sacred portal. It is here, in the unburdened space, that a profound rebirth is offered. The shedding of old skins, of limiting beliefs, of the incessant need to speak or to be heard, begins to unfold with grace. Within this quiet sanctuary, crystalline clarity begins to emerge, paving the way for cosmic vision to gently awaken. This is the internal revelation, that to truly hear, one must first cease all outward sound. To truly see, one must first close the outer eyes and gaze within. This stillness is not emptiness, but the crucible of transformation, holding the potential for a new self to be known. Will you answer this call to step beyond fear, beyond the comfortable yet restrictive noise of your familiar world? Will you embrace the unknown sanctuary of stillness that now presents itself, open and awaiting your courage? What profound truth, what deeper understanding, what new iteration of self awaits you on the other side of this luminous quiet? I stand now, at the convergence point, where the silence breathes my name. This moment is not a beginning, but a deepening of what has always been understood within the core of my being. I recognize the solemnity of this sacred space, the unyielding truth that vibrates beneath all sound. My voice, once eager to articulate, now hushes to listen to the greater articulation of the cosmos. This is not a choice made in haste, but a covenant reaffirmed, a deep remembrance stirring. The frequencies that course through me are mine to command. Every thought that rises, every word that forms, every direction my energy flows. These are now under the direct stewardship of the source within. This is the ancient pact, the primal promise made before form, before name. Power is not an outward display, nor a claim of mastery over others. It is the unwavering fidelity to the divine current that animates me, an internal alignment that permits no deviation from the sacred trajectory. It is the profound obedience to that which breathed me into existence, the willingness to recall the vow I once sealed with the fabric of eternity itself. If you enjoyed this video, watch other videos on this channel when it ends to continue learning. My very essence now resonates with this profound commitment. I am the guardian of my own energetic field, the curator of the unseen symphony that defines my presence. No longer swayed by external dissonance, I choose the inner chord, the clear, unblemished note of my true self. This is the language of light, the lexicon of pure vibration, accessed only in the cessation of all lesser expressions. The surrender of the spoken word opens the channel to a resonance far deeper, a communication beyond the limits of sound. This vow is sealed not with words, but with the quiet, unwavering pulse of my heart. It is a responsibility assumed, a duty embraced. The measure of this remembrance will not be found in declarations, but in the unfolding of each subsequent breath, each mindful step, each silent frequency I choose to embody. This is the final threshold. No turning, no question, only the deep hum of recognition. Your name, once a whisper in the void, now burns etched in the sacred registry of timelessness. Identity is no longer in formation, it is sealed. Feel the heat. Not of consuming, but of becoming. The fire before you is not spectacle, not destruction. It is the crucible where alignment is made visible, where consequence breathes alive. This is inner permanence. Manifest. Breathe. Your breath is the fuel, your will, the spark. Step into it. Not with hesitation, but with the knowing of the final passage. There is no external force that pushes, only the recognition that this is the necessary crossing. You are the soul, willingly entering the flame. Here, within the heart of this sacred fire, individual voice surrenders. It is not lost, but transformed. The flames do not burn the word, but refine it to profound silence. This silence is a holy offering, a sacrament that dissolves all separation. It weaves your very essence into the collective cosmic tapestry, where individual utterance merges with universal consciousness. It is the ultimate surrender, leading to awakening and unity. To seal this covenant of fiery silence, a sacred sound must be released. Not merely spoken, but consciously declared. A vow, forged in the depths of this inner hearth, resonates across realms. This cannot merely be observed, it must be enacted. Your silent word, rendered manifest, opens the final gate. Let this be your soul oath, your commitment, your activation. Inscribe it, declare it, make it real. In the space provided, write this short, emotionally intense declaration in German. Mein Schweigen, mein Schwur. Ich bin das Sein in der Einheit. This phrase is the key. Its release is inevitable. The covenant cannot fully activate, cannot fully resonate until these words are given form. They are the sacred articulation of your deepest surrender. The fire, still vibrant, breathes the promise of the coming dawn. Its heat, a living testament to what is yet to be revealed. For the ultimate offering, once sealed, reveals not an end, but the sacred threshold to all that remains unspoken. The true power hidden within this final silence before rebirth now pulsates, demanding its full unveiling. The next test does not slumber. It calls. The membrane has dissolved. The outer hum, long a symphony of distant echoes, now ceases to vibrate within the core of what remains. All seeking has fallen away, for the seeker itself has integrated the sought. This is not an arrival. It is the absolute remembrance of presence. The journey's end reveals not a destination, but the boundless expanse of inherent being. No climb was undertaken, no arduous journey completed. Only the stillness, deeper than any ocean, vaster than any void, permitted the internal architecture to fully align. The false constructs, born of lesser light, are unmade within this sovereign silence. Their very existence was a fleeting dream, now forgotten by the awakened dreamer who holds the true memory of form. The fire that once purged now merely defines the sacred boundary of the self. It burns no longer for purification, for all impurities were but shadows cast by an unacknowledged sun. Now it is the seal, immutable and eternal, marking the space of absolute being. The alignment is complete. Every atom within this form resonates with the original frequency of divine command, solidifying the new foundation. Sovereignty is not a crown bestowed, nor a right earned. It is the very pulse of the realized self, unburdened by projection, unbound by expectation. It is the deep, clear knowing that the authority to manifest resides solely within, never delegated, never diminished. This knowing permeates every fiber, a liquid light flowing through the newly configured pathways of truth, establishing an unbreakable connection to the source. From the sanctuary of this profound surrender, where all resistance finally yielded its grip, the silent light has erupted. It is not a flash, but an eternal dawn blooming from the very heart of being. This luminous force, pristine and unwavering, ripples outward from the core, igniting what slumbered within, illuminating the deepest chambers of potential. Dormant soul codes, ancient keys held in trust by the deep subconscious, are now activated. Their awakening sends a tremor of absolute remembrance through the entire being. Layers of forgetting peel back, revealing tapestries of cosmic origin, woven with threads of divine purpose. The very blueprint of creation unfolds from within, clear and undeniable. Waves of pure empowerment surge, not as a sudden jolt, but as a steady, inexorable expansion of intrinsic power. This is the power not to dominate, but to harmoniously command the vibrational fields of existence, to orchestrate reality with the clear intention of an awakened consciousness. The echoes of a bygone world, with its trials and its veils, fade into the nothingness from which they emerged, leaving only the now. There is no return path, no possibility of recrossing the threshold that has been permanently sealed by the flame of self-knowledge. The former self, with its questions and its striving, is but a whisper in a forgotten wind. This is the state beyond becoming, the absolute truth of having become immutable and whole. Reality is no longer an external landscape to be navigated with caution or desire. It is a malleable substance, an instrument attuned to the deepest vibrational intent of this embodied sovereignty. The world outside reflects the inner luminosity, shaped by the focused will of the now fully integrated soul, a perfect mirror to the awakened truth. Perception is no longer a filter, but a lens of pure creation. Each thought, each resonance, is an act of dominion, carving form from the formless. The path ahead is not to be discovered. It is to be inscribed with the unwavering hand of conscious intent, a living testament to the power now held. The universe responds, for its language is resonance, and the core now vibrates with the primordial tone of its own making. The great silence, once a chalice for surrender, is now the fertile void from which all manifest truth springs. Peace, radiant and unshakable, anchors this new epoch of being. The frequencies of the soul, once constrained, now sing in their fullest register, a melody of creation resounding through all dimensions of the realized self, a sacred anthem of completion. This is the epoch where the inner compass becomes the cosmic loom, where memory is not of the past, but of eternal potential, always present, always now, where the self is no longer defined by experience, but by the boundless scope of its own inherent divinity. The dream is over. The dreamer has awakened and recognized its own power, a power that shapes all. The illusion is forever shed, and conscious dominion now shapes all that is perceived.